Hey there, YouTube fans, AC Productions, and today we're going to be installing the brand new seat covers by Luimoto. Now, I'm going to do partial of the install video here in the garage, but I'm really going to be installing the seat covers inside the house just because it is already cold in winter here in Chicago. Now, to show you how cold it is in this garage, let's go to the bike. I do have one of the gauges here, and if you saw my previous video from a while back, I did install a gauge that tells me the air temperature. So let's go ahead and put the key in. Put it in over here. And let me turn on the bike so you guys could see on how cold it is in this garage. Now if you see, it's 37, almost like 37 and a half degrees in here. So it is pretty cold. Now I do have a torpedo heater. So I actually, the store is closed, so I'm not able to go get any more propane, but I am going to be getting some soon. But for now, I'm going to be doing the rest of the installation inside the house, and then we'll come back to the bike and install the seats. Now let me show you the things that you're going to need to remove your seats. Now if you live in a better climate area where it's always warm and you have a nice garage where you could work inside, by all means do it inside there. But if you're in a colder area just like me, you may want to do this inside the house. And that's what I'll be doing for this video. Alright, so let me show you what you're going to need to do to remove your seats. Now first off, you're going to need to remove your rider seat, and then you're going to need to remove your passenger side seat. Now you're going to need your key. Now you put your key so you could remove your passenger seat off. My keyhole is over here. On yours, it'll be on the side. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the seat. I'm just going to put it off here to the side. Next, we're going to do is we're going to need to remove this panel that goes here. Now if you have the R1 style, you're going to have to remove the 4 bolts. If you have your original, just go ahead and just pop it out. And then let me show you what you need to do next. Okay, once you remove your little panel that goes there, you're going to need a ratchet with an 8mm socket, as you can see I have right here. And we're going to be removing these 2 bolts, one right over here and right over here, and that's going to remove your main rider seat. Okay, once you get this bolt and this bolt out, you go ahead and remove your main rider seat out. Okay, now that we got the seats inside the house, like I said, it's kind of a bit cold where I live at. So let me show you the tools that you're going to need to do this installation of the new seat covers. So there is going to be some tools that you're going to need to do this installation, surprisingly, to make sure that the seat cover stays in its place and it doesn't move around. So let's go start off with the bottom parts over here first. Needle nose pliers or regular pliers, a flathead screwdriver, a 10mm socket with a ratchet with an extension, of course. This is an 8mm because we did remove the seat off of the bike, so also 8mm. Then we're going to need safety glasses and a staple gun. I never realized on how big a staple gun was until I went to go buy one. So here's my hand, and pretty much it's 2 hands really to get the staple gun. So staple gun is needed for this. It could be DeWalt, it could be any other brand. I'll have a link in the description below on where I purchased this one from. And apparently, when you buy a staple gun, not every staple will fit your staple gun. It seems like staples or the staple gun needs specific type of staples. So with a bunch of research, I found the staples that would fit this particular staple gun. The company is made by Arrow, and like I said, I'll have a link in the description below for the staples and the staple gun. But as you can see, these staples also work with the DeWalt staple gun. Alright, so the staples that we're going to be using is going to be 3/8 by 10mm. And that's it for really the tools. So that's pretty much it for the tools. Now, optional things that you may want to use would be a all leather cleaner and a microfiber towel. For me, this is what I'm going to be using. I'll be showing you in the video just because I do not like to install nice things on dirty things. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a nice good cleaning before I install the new seat covers. All right, so if you don't want to clean your seats before installing the seat pads, you could go ahead and skip this part of the video and then just go to minute marker. But if you do want to go ahead and clean both your main seat and your passenger seat, just grab your microfiber cloth get your cleaner, spray the towel, don't spray direct on your seat. So just go ahead and give it a few squirts like so. It doesn't have to be really that much, but I haven't cleaned mine in a while, so just go ahead and then push it in like this. Make sure it soaks in really good, and then just go ahead and give your seat a nice clean. So just make sure you get all of it, make sure you get all the areas, make sure it's nice and clean. And then once you're done cleaning that part, just go ahead and use the dry part, the other side of the towel, and wipe it all off. Make sure that you don't leave it with any shine really. You just want to make sure that you get all of the dirt and stuff from the seat off. So while I'm going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for now so I can give it a really good deep clean and pretty much not really put it on the table, because if you look on the other side you can see there is bolts and stuff like that, and I don't want to scratch the countertop here. Okay, now that I'm done cleaning my main seat, as you could see, I can't really see too much on the camera, but there is quite some amount of dirt on the seat. So even though it's black and you can't really see dirt, when you do clean it, you do see the dirt. So now that that one's clean, I'm going to go ahead and get started over here on the passenger side seat and do the same thing. So that's all you want to do, is you want to make sure that you grab your towel, and you go ahead and flip this around, and then pretty much repeat the process. Go ahead, squirt your towel, give it a good squirt amount, and then just dab it. Make so that way it could, go on both sides, and then just go ahead and then wipe down your seat. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video right now, and then just pretty much give it a nice good clean, and then we will take it from there, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, now that I'm done cleaning both the main seat and the passenger side seat, it pretty much looks like brand new. Now actually, upon inspecting my seat, as you can see over here on the passenger side seat, since I got the bike, I haven't had that much wear and tear on it, even though I do remove the seat. Well, mainly we always remove the passenger side seat a lot more than we do the main seat. But as you can see, there's a little bit of a rip right there. And on this side, you could see there's a little bit of a rip right there. So having these new seat covers are going to be awesome, because that's pretty much going to hide that. And you won't see that anymore. And you'll have a nice brand new look to the seat cover. Nothing much going on here in the back. Everything looks pretty good. So it's just pretty much right there. In those two corners where I do have a little bit of a tear on each end. On your seat you may not have any tears, and it could be perfect. Or your whole seat could be damaged and you're just looking to replace a cover and put something brand new on it, and pretty much preferably something with a nice design. Okay, for the main seat, I haven't really inspected it that much, but it pretty much looks pretty good. And there is no tears really anywhere. So this one, surprisingly, for the amount of times that I have removed the seat compared to the passenger side seat. So this one's looking good, and it's all nice and clean now. Okay, so let's get started. So I think we're gonna start off first with the main seat being the bigger seat. So let me show you what you need to do on getting this cover onto the main seat. Okay, so first things first, you're going to notice when you flip the seat over on how many staples there are on the seat to keep this fabric from moving around. And as you can see, pretty much the staples make the outline of the cover. So as you can see, all around here, going around here, around through here, pretty much all through the top here. It kind of stops right over here and then continues over here. So pretty much we're going to be doing the exact same thing on when we put this new seat cover on. It's pretty much putting 1,000 staples on, really. Okay, so first things first, what we need to do is remove this bracket. So to remove the bracket, we're going to need our 10mm socket, and we're going to go ahead and remove these two bolts, and now remove the bracket here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I kind of wanted to note before I actually remove the bracket, to make sure that you put the bracket off to the side, but in case you happen to, bump into the bracket, or, move it around or something, and it falls on the floor or something, and you forgot how it actually went on the seat, just know when you flip the seat over, like this, that the curvature of this bracket actually goes into the seat. Because you guys can see that in the camera. So you can see the curvature goes up and then up into the seat and then out like that. So this will be how you would put this bracket back on. If you put it back on and this part goes down and over, then you put it in backwards. So just showing you right now so you guys are aware of how to put the bracket back on. Okay, now that I got the 2 bolts out, go ahead and remove the bracket out, and then just put your bracket and the bolts off to the side. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it over to this side. Make sure it's away from everything. Okay, now that you got your bolts and everything, the brackets off, now it's going to be the tedious part of removing all the staples. Now to do so, you want to grab your flathead screwdriver, and I'm just going to go from the back to the front. Just going to go ahead and this is where the part gets see. You want to make sure that you do it carefully and not, you know, jab the bottom part and cause more damage to the cover. So at this point, you want to just make sure you push down firmly on your cover, grab the flathead, and then just kind of work your way into getting it in there to pop out each and every one of the staples. So let's see if I can get one in there. So this looks like it's going to be a daunting task since there is 1,000 staples really on this cover. But just try to, oh man, I could actually damage the countertop. Alright, so I'm just going to go off to the side here. Let's see, I can move the camera a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so if I were to do something, I'm not going to go ahead and jam the table. So it's gonna be a little bit, well, honestly guys, it's going to be really hard actually. So just try to do the best you can on trying to get these staples out. Once you get it in there, next will be to grab the needle nose pliers and then just try to yank them out. Either needle nose pliers, I would say would be the easiest, because you could kind of just grab the end of it and then try to yank it out. If anything, if you also need an extra, you could use the regular pliers to really grab a hold of them and pull them out. So I'm going to pause it just because it's going to be forever until I actually get one of these staples out. But once I get one out, I will continue and show you how to remove the staple off of the seat. Okay, actually that one staple that I did remove came out pretty easy. and it was a way I didn't really have it on the table. I actually was holding on to it. But here's the one that I did pop out, and as soon as I got it a little bit halfway out, it kind of just almost wanted to come off altogether. But here it is. Just go ahead and pop it out, and here is the staple. As you can see, it's a pretty small one compared to the ones that I did buy. So let me grab one of the staples that I did buy so I can show you in comparison on how the differences look. Alright guys, so here is the comparison. The one here on the top is the original. The one here in the bottom is going to be the one that we're going to be pushing through on the new seat. Now you're wondering why I got the little bit longer staple. It's just because I will be keeping the original seat cover on the bike, or on the seat, and then installing the new one over it. So I wanted to make sure it was going to be catching both fabrics. So that's why I got the little bit longer one. As you could see, if you are going to remove your original seat cover, then you could go ahead and get the smaller size, because it's not going to be holding as much fabric. But since I am be holding double fabric, that's why I got the longer one. So make sure to hold both of the fabrics together. So that's just a comparison. Another comparison is that the original, as you guys can see, it's just flat at the edge there, or at the little tip right there. It's flat compared to the one that we're going to be using. Actually has a point. So you can see there's a point on it. So that's another different comparison. Alright, so let me show you what I did on how to actually getting this one staple out, and it may hold true for pretty much all of these, because like I said, once I was able to do it, I was able to get it out pretty well. Okay, so pretty much I was grabbing the seat cover like so, and pretty much away from the countertop altogether, holding it firmly, and then just really pushing in the screwdriver into the staple. And then pretty much once you get that angle and you get that the screwdriver in there, it comes off fairly easy. So okay, see, so I was able to nudge it and then get it underneath that staple part, as you can see right there. And then pretty much from there, I'm able to get it underneath completely. And for the most part, it just comes out, and I don't need the pliers to actually get the staple out. So now that I got those two, and I'm actually getting the rhythm of how to get those staples out, so that's pretty much what you want to do. So from here, I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of these staples that go lining around the whole edge of the seat. So I'm gonna pause it right now and I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. You go ahead and do the same. All right, so that was quite interesting. I found it to be a little bit easier getting to the staple at the edge of the staple to pop them out, and kind of wish I had a more sharper flathead screwdriver instead of this one being a little bit on the thick side. If you happen to have a more thinner pointed flathead screwdriver, that would work best for this application. But as you can see, here is the amount of staples I just finished removing from the seat. Alright, now that I removed all of the staples, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm kind of curious just to see what is on the other side of it. I know it's padding, obviously, because you could see through these holes, but I'm really curious to see how the other side looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel it off a little bit. Wow, it's actually, let's see if I can show you guys over here. It's actually black over here. I mean, so I guess rubbing of the fabric and making it dirty. And other than that, it's just foam. All foam. Pretty cool. Alright, so at this point, it is up to you on how you want to install your seat cover. Now, like I said, for me, I'm going to leave the original seat cover on it, and then I'm going to put the new one over it. Just because I would like a little bit extra padding. Even though it looks like a flimsy material, as you can see on how thin it is, with the other one giving a little bit, you know, every little bit counts on your seat, especially when you do long rides. So I'm just gonna leave it on there, but like I said, it's up to you on how you want to do it. Now just note, if you do leave your original seat cover, when you put the new one on, it's probably gonna be a little bit more snug, and trying to maneuver it on putting it on there just because of the tightness of it. But if you remove it, it should kind of slip on fairly easy. For me in this video, I'm just going to leave this one on, like I said, but for you, it's up to you guys if you want to keep your original, or just go ahead and just remove the original and then go ahead and slip the new one on. Alright, so I'm just going to pause it real quick and go ahead, because I had put the covers back in on the box because I didn't want them to get damaged. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave this on. I'm going to go grab the new one, and then we're just going to start installing the new seat cover on the seat. Alright guys, hopefully I got the best angle to show you. Alright, so let me go ahead and put the old seat cover kind of back in its place, stretching it over back into its spot like so. Okay, so everything looks to be in place like it was. As you can see, here it is. Alright, so first what you want to do, first things first, is to install the new seat. As you can see, it has the points like it is over here. So here's the points right here, and on the fabric here are these points. So you want to make sure that you put the points in first, and then as you do, you're pulling it back. So let me see if I can get a good view for you guys. Alright, so just want to make sure that all the dust and everything, personally I'm just like that, make sure everything's off of the old cover, no dust, anything. So now that I completely wiped it down, I'm just going to go ahead and install it point in first. So point here, and then go ahead and install the other point in also. So this is the part where it can get tedious, just because this is new fabric and you're going to be stretching it over the seat to get it nice and snug and tight. So let's go ahead and just do the best you can. Like I said, I am leaving the old cover on, but if you do remove your old cover off, it should still be tight, but a little bit more easier to install on. But if you do leave the old seat cover like I am, it might be just a little bit snug on getting the cover in. But like I said, just do the best you can on your end on stretching the material over the seat. Alright, so far it went in pretty well on that part. Alright, so once you get that part in like so, just go ahead and stretch this part over the back end. And same thing on the other side. This is the part where it'll probably be a little tedious to get this part in. Alright, so we got one part down. Now next is to get this one over. So I'm gonna pause it real quick, guys, just because I don't want to keep on scratching the countertop here, and I'm just gonna take it off the countertop and really stretch this material over this end. Once you get that end, I'll show you what to do next. Okay, honestly, guys, it wasn't even that bad. As soon as I got it off of the table and really stretched the material over, just want to make sure that you work the material cover on it, make sure that everything's nice and kind of lined up. But actually, to put it over the original cover, it wasn't that bad at all. Like I said, I just didn't want to keep on doing it on the countertop. But now that I got it on there, it looks really good. I'm really digging the look. I'm really liking it a lot. I just can't wait to get it on the bike to really see the look. I think it'll complete it really well. But yeah, just make sure that you pull on all the edges to make sure that it's nice and snug and tight. Obviously, it's not going to be completely until we start stapling it on there. But as you can see, when I pull on it, it gets rid of the creases or the wrinkles. But so far, it's all lined up fairly well. Let's look on the other side. Everything is on there as best as it could be. Now next is going to be restapling the whole entire edge with the hundreds of staples that it originally had before. So, and at this point, this is where you're gonna be. I'm gonna go ahead and start off at this side, and I'll show you how to do it. And then from there, I'll pause it, and then I'll just continue doing it. But I'll show you how to initially start doing the stapling, and then from there, you guys will know how to do it, and then do the rest of it on your own. So I'll show you how to do these few, and then I'll pause it, and then I'll start doing a few over here on the side, so you guys can see how I am actually stapling it on there. Now, before we get to the part where I show you how to staple, if you look at the tag over here, I was looking at the other side of it, and let me see if I can show you guys real quickly before I actually put it in there. If you look at it, it shows you actually instructions on how to clean the material, or how to clean the seat cover if it ever were to get dirty. And over here it says clean with mild soap and water. Then it says designed by Luimoto, made in Canada. So that's good to know that just mild soap and water, you're able to clean the fabric. Then again, on this side it has their logo and design. Alright, so let's get started on stapling the seat cover onto the seat. Alright, so as we're going to do it, we're going to get the staple gun. You want to make sure, as you could see, that there is a kind of like a wall right here, and that's where you want to put the staple in. You don't want to put it on the top over here. You want to make sure that the staples are hidden like it was before. So as you can see right here, you just want to make sure that you hit the side wall over here with the staples. Alright, so let me go ahead and grab the staple gun. Here's our staple gun. Alright, so let me see if I could try to do this on camera, guys, because it is kind of tricky, because I really want to make sure that I show you guys properly on how to do it, and at the same time do it good as well. Alright, so just make sure that you pull on the seat cover. Make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want to put a staple in and find out that the cover is loose. So if you were to not pull on the material if you were not to pull on the cover itself and you staple it, it could be, you know, out like this, and this is not good. On, you know, I don't see what all this is. This won't be good, because then it'd be all loose like that. So you want to make sure that you pull on it, make sure it's really tight on the seat, and then go ahead and staple the staple. Put a staple in it. Alright, so let's see. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Alright. And for me, I'm just going to tuck the label inside here, because I don't want it dangling out. I don't want it to catch on anything when I put the seat back on. So I'm just going to go ahead and tuck this in, but it's already good to know that just some water and mild soap would be able to clean it. Alright, so as I pull on it really good. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with one staple here in the middle and then work my way over. Okay, I think that would work. And make sure that you guys are careful. Don't forget to wear your safety glasses. By the way, let me go grab mine. So here's the safety glasses, because you definitely don't want a staple to, you know, jump over and then hit you in the eyes. So that's not good. So I'm going to wear the safety glasses. Alrighty. Okay, so let's see if we can do this without moving too much the camera. Alright. And again, make sure you guys are very careful with your placement of your fingers, because you definitely don't want to put a staple through your finger, because that'll be a bad day and a trip to the emergency room, or to the hospital, in that, for that matter. All right. Okay, moment of truth. Here we go. All right, now before I actually staple this, I'm not going to staple my finger right now. Just want to make sure that the fabric is at a good spot. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and put our first staple in. All right, there we go. Okay, so that's our first staple. Okay, so now as you're doing it, just want to make sure that you work the fabric onto the plastic area over here, and then go ahead and just keep on stapling as you go through, as you're going along. At the same time, really making sure that you're pulling on the seat cover itself, because like I said, you want to make sure that it's really tight on here. Alright, so that's our first one. So I'm going to put a few extras over here, and then I'll go to the side and I'll show you what to do next. So just like I said, pull on the fabric, just make sure it's nice and tight. Put your staple on there and staple it. Make sure your fingers are out of the way. Go ahead, pop your staple in, and then just keep on working it until it's nice and snug. Okay, so now that as you could see, I've already gave my fair share of staples to really secure it in place. Now note one thing I wanted to share with you guys is that I noticed that with the staple gun, even though I had pushed it in there, it seemed like I was able to actually push it in a little bit more. Now what I mean is that once I had stapled it on there, even though it is on there, a few of the staples didn't actually go all the way in. Like it stuck out just a little bit that you actually could see that it was it wasn't all the way in. So what I did is that I grabbed the back end, the ball end of this screwdriver, and I just kind of pressed the staple further into the plastic, and that helped a lot. So I just kind of did that with all of them, even though it kind of went in there, but like I said, a few of them didn't actually go all the way into the plastic like it should. So I just it could be that the pressure of this staple gun is not very powerful or whatnot. Like again, this is a handheld one, so it may have needed a more high pressured one, but for this application, a handheld would be just fine. Just push it in with the back end of the screwdriver. It just needs a little bit of a nudge in to push it in a little bit more into the plastic. That's it. I don't think it would actually need a more high powered staple gun to, you know, staple the material onto the seat. Alright, so again, you don't want to go all the way to the edge of the seat to actually staple this on. I would say up to right there should be good enough, because over here you start getting into the cushion, and you definitely don't want to shoot a staple through here to have it come out to this side. So I would say up to right here. This is up to where the plastic ends, and then this is like, well, I guess there's a little bit more plastic here, but at the same time this kind of gets really thin over here, and over here there's still a lot more plastic to for the staple to go into. So up to right there is good. Make sure that you just staple it in all around like this. As you can see, up to there I went. Okay, so now that we got this part in like so, it's looking really good. Now I'm just going to go ahead, and it doesn't matter which side you start off. I'm just going to go ahead and start with this side. So at this point, you want to grab the seat cover and pull on it as much as you can, and then pull it over on the lip of the plastic of the seat. Now that you've done that, go ahead and put a staple in just to kind of help you get started. So let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and pull. I'll probably put one right over here to like really secure it in place. So pull it on as best you can, and then flip it over, and at the same time holding it really good, because if you don't hold it tight enough, it's gonna, like, you know, it's gonna come out like that. So pull it really hard, and then put it over the lip, and then go ahead and put your staple. But like I said, you're gonna have to really hold on it tightly, because if not, and you let it go loose, it can get loose a little bit like that, and if you put it, you're just gonna have flimsy, not flimsy, but a little bit looser on the seat cover itself, and you don't want that. You want to make sure it's nice and snug and tight. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that again. Pull on it as best I can. That way you can kind of also get the contour and shape of your original seat. Alright, so let's get that in there. Okay, I think I got it. I'll make sure again on this side. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to hold it there, grab my staple gun, and this is the part that's going to kind of get tricky to actually get the staple gun on there, but so I can do the best I can. Alright, got one staple on there. Okay, that's going to hold it in place for me while I grab the rest of the material and do the same thing. at this point it's not much to like tug because I already really did it up good on this side. So I'm just going to go ahead and put another staple over here. Let's just go ahead and pull the material just a little bit more, every bit that you can. And again, like I said, just be careful when using the staple gun. You definitely don't want to staple your finger. And I would say just a few more staples until you get to like this area, and that should be good enough. And then again, I'll just pretty much do the same thing. You just want to make sure that you pull on the seat cover to get it nice and contoured with the original, and then go ahead and put your staple in. Once I get to a staple that oh, here's one right here actually, the first one that I had put on there, because now that I've already stapled this one, as you could see it didn't go all the way in. Like I said, it could be the pressure of the gun, it's not pushing it in all the way, or maybe because I'm moving the fabric around that it's coming out just a little bit. So at this point, as you can see, it's not all the way in. I'm just going to grab the ball end of the flathead screwdriver, and with the plastic I'm just going to push it in just a little bit, all the way in, until it won't go in all the way anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and with some pressure just push it in. Alright, so now you can see it's more inside. I'm going to do the same with this one, but I'm going to wait until I'm actually done stapling this area to actually push it in. So, alright, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a few more staples over here, and then I'll show you a little bit more on this side on stapling the seat cover onto the seat. Okay, so I already put a little bit more, like I said I would, just a few more staples here. Okay, so now let's move on to this area, and this is the part where might get a little tricky just because of the curvature of the seat and how the staple gun is. So, but just to try to do the best you can. Alright, so now that we're at this point, I'm going to keep on doing the same thing. Just grab the material or the seat cover, and then just pull it as much as you can, and then put it over the lip. So at this point you're pretty much just getting the contour of the original seat. So go ahead, pull it as much as you can, and hold it as best you can over the lip of the seat, and then go ahead and put your staple in through. So like I said, at this point it's going to get a little tricky just because there's not that much space, and it's kind of hard to get the staple gun to actually put the staple in. Okay, let's see. Alright, that staple didn't go as straight as I wanted it to, but as you could see, kind of went in a little bit crooked. But that's okay. I mean, it's going to be underneath of the bike anyway. No one's going to, you know, judge you on how well your staples are on the underneath of the bike. But what I'm going to do, since it is a little crooked, I'll just probably push it in with the back end of this screwdriver and try to get it in as best I can on the plastic. Just to push it in a little bit more, since like I said guys, it's going to be a little difficult on actually getting it, just because the plastic and this part over here, it's going to be a little difficult. So just continue working your way around, keep on going until you get to this edge, around over here, and it's pretty much the same thing, just like how we did over here and over here. It's just going to be the same thing. Keep on doing the best you can, pulling on the seat cover and stapling as you go. So going over here, same thing over here. I think over here will be a lot more easier to go with the staple gun. Around over here, and so on and so forth until you get back to the edge over here. Alright guys, I had to move my this video over to my video editing room just because my family has come in and making quite a bit of noise in order for me to continue this video. As I was stapling, I came across a part of the staple where the staple actually broke, and I wanted to show you guys. Where is it? It's right over here. Okay, so if you notice right here, you can see the staple has broke. It was kind of hard to see in the camera, but you can see the staple sticking out. Now that could pose a hazard when you move the seat around, that you can actually, you know, stab your finger or whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and remove it. So if this happened to you, make sure that you remove it right away and replace it with a new staple. So make sure that you grab your pliers and then just grab the staple, that part that's broken, which is right over here. So it should come out fairly easy since it's, you know, just in plastic. And as you can see, there's that part. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the screwdriver and just pop this other one out and replace it with a brand new staple. Okay, now that I've done that, here's pretty much the completed look with all the staples. You can see all around over here. And continuing over here. And at one point in the, as you're doing the stapling and pulling the material over the plastic, you are going to come to a part where you kind of need to fold the material over. So just go ahead and fold it and put a staple through it. As you can see, I had to do it on both sides. So you probably may have to do the same when you're applying the fabric over the seat. Just going around over here. Then this is where I encountered another part where you had to fold it in. And going around through here and around through here. So that's pretty much all the staples you're going to pretty much need. Like I said, as you're pulling the fabric and stapling, just do the best you can. Like I said, your staples don't have to be perfect since it is on the bottom part, unless you want to show off your staples. But yeah. Alright, so then the other side is the part that looks great. Really liking and loving, actually really loving the look of the way it feels, the look, even this part where it's more like a, let me see if I could zoom in a little bit so you guys could see the material on this one. Alright, so it's the best I can get on the zoom in, but you could see it's like it's more of a rougher material than the smooth leather part over here, just to give you some grip. So that's pretty much it on the seat. Now let's go ahead and get started on the passenger seat. And pretty much the concept is the same. It's going to be the same of putting it over the seat, but there's actually one thing that's actually different on the passenger seat. Now let me show you what that is. Oh, now before we actually get to that part, let's actually go ahead and put our bracket back on here. So let me go ahead, grab the bracket, and let me show you how to put it back on. So now that I got my bracket here, now remember that the bracket, this part, the one that dips in, is going to go towards the seat. Now make sure you have it down this way. Don't have it up like this, because if you do, you're going to see that this bracket part actually goes up and over. You want to make sure it goes down and over. So down and over like this. And that's the part that's going to lay like so. So let me show you on the seat. So let's go ahead and put it in like so. And you want to, like I said, you want to make sure that it goes down and over. So it looks like that. Go ahead, put your 2 screws on and then tighten it down. Alright, now that you got your bracket nice and firmly tight, you're all set with this seat, and this seat is ready to go on the bike. But before we do that, we're actually going to get to the passenger side seat. Let me show you what you need to do with the passenger side seat to get that ready for the new seat cover. Okay, so here is our passenger seat cover. Now we're going to need to remove the strap so we could actually install this new strap right here, but that's going to be after we actually put the new seat cover on, but we still need to remove the strap anyway. Alright, so to remove this strap, what you're going to do is going to flip over your seat cover, and you're going to notice these 2 bolts. There's going to be one over here and one over here. Now removing these bolts is going to actually remove the strap, and at the same time it's going to remove these brackets. I'm also going to be removing my toolkit that I have underneath here. This is straight from Yamaha, stock little toolkit. If you don't have anything here, then you have nothing to worry about, but if you do have something here, it'll be just a good idea to remove it. That way it frees up area, and there's less obstruction when you're actually removing staples and restapling your new cover. So it's a 10mm size over here, so make sure you remove this bolt here and this bolt here, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, now that I got the 2 bolts removed, and I put them right there. And next, you're gonna see that you're gonna have some spacers or washers on the fabric. You just go ahead and remove them. I believe they come out. Yeah, there you go. So just grab this one, then grab that one. You're going to be using this when you install the new strap back on. There we go. So here's the 2 spacers or washers. Put that off to the side. Okay, so next you're going to do is just grab the bracket and kind of wiggle it out. Also grabbing the strap and pulling that out. Should all come out fairly easy. And there we go. And then just pull it out. Oh, it actually has some hardware to it. Whoop. Okay, so it's actually some kind of metal piece like that. So try to keep everything together when you remove it, so that way you know how to re-put it back. So I'm gonna go ahead, since I know it's seems to be a 2 or 3 piece thing going on over here. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put it back, put it off to the side, and really take it apart. So just make sure that you do the same thing. Make sure you're careful on removing it, because it seems like there's some pieces actually here that come off with it. Okay, so that was a little bit of trickiness to actually get it removed without having things fall apart. But here is the original strap, which has 2 holes at the end, which is actually pretty cool, because if you ever have a strap that's actually been stretched out, you know, by putting so many things underneath it, it's good to know that you could actually take it apart, redo a hole into it, and make it tight again. So here's the original strap that we're going to put off to the side for now. And then here's the brackets. As you can see, when they come off, it has this metal piece. For to remove it, it's like so. It looks like this. Actually goes on here like that with the bolt that goes right there. And it seems like this part keeps that that strap, I guess, tight or something or whatnot, so it's not slopping around. So, and then on here it actually says up, so you know that this part goes up on the seat here. You can see that right there. It says up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these off to the side. All right, so next, now that you have your seat completely free of the strap, this is how pretty much it looks like. Just a plain looking seat, which is all about to change when we put the new seat cover. So just make sure that your seat cover is clean, like so. Just make sure that all dust is off. It's pretty much how I like everything clean. All right, so here's all the staples that we're gonna have to remove. So pretty much just like the rider's seat, we're gonna have to do the same thing with the passenger side seat. So just go ahead and remove all of these staples. So just gonna go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, well, hopefully the noise of my heater is not too much and overbearing on the camera. So it is getting a little bit colder here in the back room of where I do editing of my YouTube videos. All right, so getting back to the seat. Now the seat, I've noticed that there's some staples here, and I just wanted to show you guys there's some staples here that I didn't remove just because there'll be no way that I could actually get my staple gun in that area. So there's a couple staples right here, and I just decided just to leave those there. And same thing with this side, there's a couple staples that there's no way I'll be able to get my staple gun in that area, so I just left those there. But for everything else I had removed, all around over here and through here and through here. Again, you want to just see what's behind here. It's actually just a piece of small foam, and it looks like it's like a foam that's like been injected, or foam injection or whatnot, that's injected into this plastic, because it's like really thin right over here, but it gets really thick as it gets to this part. I'm not going to remove the whole thing, but as you can see, there it is, and you can see over here is where it gets more thicker and more cushionier on this. But it's pretty interesting to see, you know, how this stuff is behind, you know, the fabric and stuff like that. That obviously you can see all the hundreds of staple holes that there are on the plastic. So very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and put the fabric back on, because I'm not going to get this part dirty. Now again, same thing with the rider side, or the rider seat. If you want to go ahead and remove your old fabric cover or whatever, your old seat cover, you could go ahead and remove it and put the new one. Or if you want to do it like how I'm going to do it, I'm going to leave this one on, and then I'm going to put the new one over it. So there's nothing really wrong with mine. Yours could be a different story. Yours could be all ripped and everything. If you have an all ripped cover, you definitely don't want to keep that underneath. So you could just go ahead and discard that one, take it off, and put it with a new cover. But for me, since mine is in pretty decent shape, besides the little corners that are a little bit torn, but other than that, for the most part, it's still in really good condition. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on. But before, I also wanted to show you that that I didn't mention on the first cover, is that this, like over here, is just a thin material cover or whatever, like around here. But actually, the seat part is actually, there's actually some cushioning right here. I'm not sure if you guys could see it in the camera. Let's see if I could bring it in a little bit. But you could actually see there's actually padding on each one of these. Okay, we're going to put the cover over it, just like so. Make sure that you stretch it as much as you can over the seat. And I'm going to start with pretty much the back and work my way to the front. Okay, so now that we got it on there, on the other side, you want to make sure that your seat, this part, matches with the cushioning part of this cover. So just go ahead and put it in like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that you have everything lined up. And once you do, go ahead and put one staple here in the back. That way it'll secure it in place while you work your way around the seat cover. And then this part, it's up to you if you want to leave the tag just hanging there, or you could actually just fold it in and then just go ahead and staple like that. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do a few staples, and then I'll show you what to do next on, you know, working your way around. But pretty much the concept is still the same, just like you were doing your front rider seat, is just pulling the material and stapling as you go through. So I'm just going to do a few over here in the back, and then I'll show you as I'm progressing to the sides of the the seat cover. Okay, so this is pretty much what I did, is that I stapled one here in the back and then I stapled one here in the front. You want to make sure that you try to get this part as center to this center plastic part over here, because you know that's the center. So I just want to make sure you want one here on the front, one here in the back. That way the fabric will hold itself in place as you work yourself alongside the sides. Now I noticed that on this part you want to make sure that you put force, meaning that when you're pressing the staple gun, so when you're grabbing your staple gun like so, that you put enough force to push down on the staple, because I noticed that when I didn't, that the staples kind of came out all weird, which I'll be removing them. But as you can see, not putting that much force on the staple came out all weird and crooked and stuff, as you can see on these two right over here. But when I put a little bit more force, they came down more flat, which was not the case when working on the rider seat. On the passenger side seat, it seems to be a little more difficult. So just make sure that you put enough force onto the staple so it could push down evenly and smooth, compared to having this really crooked one. So I'll be removing these crooked ones and restapling it. You're also going to find yourself folding the material over. As you can see, I overlapped over here, so that way you make sure that you get, you know, nice and smooth areas. But you're going to be finding yourself doing that as you're moving through, because, you know, that's how the material is. So, and that's perfectly okay. So once you fold it over neatly, just go ahead and put a staple on it to hold it in place. So as you can see, I did one on this side, and then same thing on this side. So I'll be putting more staples on there to hold the fabric in place. Again, you know, just do it how the best you can. The staples don't have to be perfect on this department. So just work little by little, you know, pulling the material over the seat cover. So just make sure you go ahead and you pull it as strong as you can, fold it over, hold it in place with one finger, and then put a staple in close by. Make sure you are very careful on doing this and not stapling your fingers onto the fabric, because that would be really bad. So far it's looking really good. I'm really liking it. It's definitely gonna give a nice completed look on the R3. I think it gives it more character on the bike, having something like that compared to having the plain style seats. So definitely recommend getting seat covers, especially with a nice design on it. If you're looking just to have something over it, they do have plain styles available, you know, with just a little bit of like some stitching if you want different colors, or, you know, some design, maybe not too crazy, but they have different styles available. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and keep doing what I was doing. Like I said, just keep pulling the material over and giving it a staple. And then when you come to a place or come to a spot where it kind of goes like this, just make sure that you fold it over. You know, let me see if I can do it on the camera here. So if you get to a spot like this, just go ahead, fold it over, and then put a staple on it. But make sure that you put the fold on this side and not have it where it's going to be showing from the outside like this, because that's not going to look good. Okay, so I'm pretty much done stapling. I did find some difficult areas. I may restaple these ones that are right here. They came out a little crooked, but for the most part everything came out nice. I did fold some areas and then stapled them along here, those some areas. I tried to do my best on keeping all the folds on the inside, as you could see over here, so that way it's a little bit more of a cleaner, smoother look on this area right here. Try to do the same thing on the other side. Try to keep it nice and smooth from the outside, but from the inside you could see I try to pull the material as much as I could and actually putting the staple through it. These areas were really difficult to try to get the staple on there, but I did the best I could on there. Put some staples through here, over here, and same thing over here. I try to do the best I can on folding the material over in the inside and putting the staple, but this corner area is really difficult in itself. So same thing over here. So everything went fairly decent. There was a lot of, you know, areas that it was kind of difficult on getting the staple gun to actually fit in there to put a staple through. Then this is pretty much how the other side looks. Very nice with the carbon fiber look here, and then the diamond pattern stitching over here, and you could see how much this part sticks out. I mean, not sticks out, but you could see that there's actually a padding there, so your passenger will really thank you when they sit on and you give them a ride, because there'll be a lot more cushion there. So far it's looking really good. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our strap that goes here on this top. Alright, so let me show you on how to actually put the strap on. Okay, that sounded pretty bad, but how to put the strap onto the seat. So let's go ahead and grab a bracket. Now say that you had put your brackets off to the side and you kind of mix them up. Here they are. And you mix them up and now you don't know what bracket goes to what side, which is pretty simple on putting them on. So say you mess them up. So go ahead, let's grab our seat. And really the bracket's only going in one direction. Let's move this side piece off. And if you were to put it on this side, you can see it doesn't really go on this side because of the way the shape of the bracket is. They really only go in one way. And even if you were to put it this way, yes, it may fit, but your bracket thing will be on backwards, and you can see it doesn't follow the shape of the back of the underneath of the seat cover. So when you put it on there, just follow the contour and the shape of the underneath of the seat, and as you see, this part is where it would go. So there's a little like notch that sticks out from the bottom end of this plastic part, and then you got the metal post there. So this part goes in like so, put it in like that, and then it just goes in like this. So now we know that we got it in right. And then also when you tighten down the screw, you'll know that since this piece lines up with that hole right there, it'll lock it in place so it doesn't move around. So you know that when you put the seat on, the bracket will be lined up with your bracket onto the bike itself, so you know that everything will be lined up straight. Alright, so now that we have that on there, I'm going to grab our bracket, and notice that your bracket is actually curved. Now this part actually corresponds with this part over here, so when you slide it in through, obviously it also has a hole there, so you have to put that part with the bolt. So go ahead and put it in like so it looks like that. So now you're asking, how do I get the strap on there? So to get the strap, you pretty much lift up this part over here, which as you can see there's like a little hole area. You're going to slide the strap through here, and then we're going to put it onto this part. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to put the seat here on the table so it's easier for me to work on. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to grab the strap, which is right over here, and to do so we're going to go ahead and put it in like this. So when you put it on there, just make sure that this part is going to be going underneath the seat like so, and going in like this. Alright, so go in so like so, I was like saying, like I say, lift up the metal here. So let me give it a better view. So have that this part like so, and then lift up this metal bracket just a little bit so you could slide the strap through it. So go ahead and slide it through. So then on the other side, move this off to the side. So slide it all the way until you get to the little hole that's right there. So once you get it, just push it right through. It's already they already pre-did the hole, so it should just pop through like it did. Once it pops through like it did, just grab your washer, put it over it, and then get the locking nut, and then just screw it hand tight. Alright, so this is pretty much how it looks like. Now that we got the strap on there like that, put the spacer on there, or the washer, and then put the locking nut. Okay, so from the other side, you could see we got the nice part facing this way. Like I said, if you put it on backwards, you're going to get this part facing like that, and that's what you don't want. Okay, so we got that on there. So it's pretty much the same thing on the other side. We'll go ahead and flip the strap over. Let's get our bracket. Like I said, it only goes in really one direction. Let's put our bracket in like that. That part pretty much goes in like so. Make sure that this notch part that's like this goes on the outside, because obviously there's a hole over here on this side, because if you put it the other way, you're going to cover up the hole and you can't, put it through. So just put it in like so. Make sure the holes line up. Let's go ahead and put it on there. And then same thing like how you did on this other side. So same thing that you did on this side by moving the bracket a little bit, you do the same thing with that side to allow the strap to go in there. Alright, so now this is the part, it might be a little difficult because obviously it is a new strap, so you're going to have to really tug on this strap to get it the hole onto the nut over here. So I'm going to go ahead off camera and really tug on the strap to get it over there, but once you do, go ahead and put your spacer and your locking nut on. Okay, honestly guys, that was actually a little bit of a challenge just to get that strap to actually go over, because it is a brand new strap, so it kind of needs to be broken in. So I already got it on there, as you can see, and on this side I've already put the spacer and the bolt on each one, and I already went ahead and tightened it down with the ratchet, 10 millimeters of course. And pretty much what I used to actually get the strap to get over, I used the pliers. So I grabbed onto the end of the strap, and I was kind of like, you know, really pulling as best I can to get it over on here to get the bolt on there. So that's already done. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my little tool thing back on. So I get the little rubber band piece, put it on like so. Get my stock tool set that came with the bike. Toolkit's already back on in space. Alright, so now it's going to be the fun part. Now it's going to be actually putting the seat covers back on the bike, and that'd be pretty much it. So let's go to the bike and let's install these brand new seats onto the, well, pretty much the brand new seats with the covers on there onto the bike. Alright, so let's go over to the bike and let's install these back on. Okay, now we're over at the bike, so let's do the first things first. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. This is pretty much my little side piece that goes here, but since I didn't want it to get scratched with anything, so I put this soft towel on it. So first things for you guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our main rider seat back on. After that, you can go ahead and put your cover that goes here, and then go ahead and put your passenger side seat on. So make sure, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Like when you put your main seat on, make sure that you put the two bolts that go on either side, one here and one here, 8mm socket. And then after that, you know, put your cover and then put your passenger side seat, and then we'll take it from there. Alright guys, now that I put everything together, it looks awesome. It really came together really well. And it definitely changes the look of the bike for sure. It gives it a little bit more character. There's more design to this area where otherwise no, it's just plain. So it definitely came out really good. And I will say that putting everything back together, it was just a little difficult just because there is more material, more fabric on the seat now. So you may have to just kind of take your time and put everything and installing everything back on the bike. So where I found a little bit more on the difficult side was on the main rider side, because of the two screws or whatever that goes there. Since there is more fabric, it didn't want to quite line up so well, so I had to like really make sure that the seat goes in as far as it can to really get those screw holes aligned. Other than that, my second difficult part for me was this part, just because I do have a locking mechanism behind here. On yours, you may still have the stock piece that goes there, so it'll be a little bit more easier. But for me, because I do have that locking mechanism behind it, it was a little difficult to get this piece on there. So I have to note to myself that when I'm doing work on my bike, that taking this middle piece always can kind of be a pain in the butt. Then secondly, really not this part. This part was pretty simple and easy to install back on. But other than that, it looks incredible. I really love the look. Really like the materials that I had chose to do this project and get these seat covers made. Well guys, that pretty much concludes the installation on how to install these Luimoto seat covers. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you guys haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you guys are up to date with my latest video. And thank you for watching.